Welcome to the open book, where every voice matters. Every story got layers, and every conversation opens something new. Turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. Turn the page. Turn the page. Turn the page. Welcome to the open book, where the real conversations flow. Turn the page. Turn the page. Turn the page. Every story got meaning. Every perspective shows. Turn the page. Turn the page. Turn the page. Turn the page. Late night talks with the smooth bass knocking. Whole room tuned when the topics dropping. Authors, culture, real life views. Open book vibes bring a whole new groove. No fake energy when the dialogue starts. Different perspectives play a major part. From page to podcast, the vibes stay deeper. Real conversations every single week. Welcome to the open book, where the real conversations flow. Turn the page, turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. Every story got meaning. Every perspective show. Turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. Every chapter different. Every voice got purpose. Every voice got purpose. Turn the page.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the open book. This is your host, Lakeisha. I hope everyone has been having a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Make sure you tap that like button. It is for free. Let everyone know that we are live and we have a few things to discuss pertaining to the Karmelo Anthony case. Y'all, this thing may be worse than what we imagined, okay? Now, one thing that did come out, and I'm going to say also that this live is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is covered under the Fair Use Act. Information shared is alleged in our opinions as we react to various topics and people. Now, we have already kind of gone through certain parts of the motion for a new trial. Now, as I was going through attorney Mike Howard's affidavit, there are some things that stood out to me, okay, pertaining to the graffiti, the racist graffiti of the Metcalf twins. Also, the statements that the witnesses allegedly told the police the day of the incident. Now, one thing that also came to me was the arrest record. Now, the police, Frisco Police Department, were out there speaking with various students. Now, are they a part also of this alleged setup or railroad of Karmelo Anthony? Because a lot of the statements that the attorney has put into a sworn affidavit are not showing on the police record. And we are going to take a look at that. Also, y'all, there were some arrests made in Frisco back a couple of years ago pertaining to racist graffiti. So I was going through and I'm like, man, it was happening multiple times. Okay. Now, one little case I could eliminate that it wasn't the Metcalf twins because that person actually caught the man on camera. Okay. A ring camera from a neighbor. But then there was this other case. Now, I'm not saying that this is them, but y'all, the description and what they said made me wonder, was this the incident that they put on the sworn affidavit? Okay, we're going to take a look at that. Also, now I know Charleston White came out here and was talking all kind of crap and seemingly went against the family, the Anthony family. It looked like he had betrayed them. But y'all are going to hear some things that he stated that confirm some things that we're already seeing with this case. That was there more at play and a part of this setup as it pertains to evidence, okay? Because y'all already know we've been clocking. It looked like 2 different knives and so forth. And where's the autopsy? Where's the narrative? Y'all, He's going to speak on that. Now, it seems like he in his right mind and acting like he got some sense on this interview with Vlad TV. So we're not going to tap into the whole interview, but there are a couple of parts that I wanted us to tap into today. All right, so let's get into it. Let's see who we have here first. Hey, Buttercup is in the building. Welcome, sis. Good afternoon, and thank you for being first in the building. Hey, Verb, happy Sunday. Thank you for tapping in. Mama's 80 is in the building. Welcome. Protected 91. Hey, sis. Thank you for joining. Queen Shailene is in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Becca, welcome. Thank you for tapping in as well. She said, I'm driving, but listen. Okay. Thank you for listening in. Hey, Zoe, good afternoon. Welcome. Oh, look, I almost skipped my sis. Hey, the Queen's Den. Okay, I need to say Detective Queen's Den is in the building. Welcome. Hey, Ray from PA is in the building. Thank you for joining, sis. Philly Girl Juice is here. She said, how are you, sis? Happy Sunday. I am doing great, y'all. We came from church, had a little lunch, and so I am doing great. I said, let me do my live, child, because you know how those Sunday afternoons are when you want to take a nap. Okay, I need the detectives to get your notebooks out for this one. Hey, Shamika, welcome. Now, also, I don't know if I'll do it today or tomorrow. There have been some updates in the Nolan Wells case also. Okay, y'all. It's a lot. We're going to keep up, though. We're going to keep up. That's why I said make sure y'all keep a notepad or some way of taking notes because, child, these people did not expect us, okay, to really look into these cases and to think things through. See, what they need to do is blame themselves. And one reason I say that is, had there not been a Romika Meeks case, okay, when I'm talking about for my channel, when I started really getting into this, I wouldn't have known how to look up certain stuff had it not been for a Tyrone Davis case, okay, we were seeing when people were playing on our tops. Oh, before that, when the Malcolm Jamal Warner case, okay, then the Tyrone Davis case, okay, Karmelo Anthony, Nolan Wells. The more we have to fact check y'all and really investigate these stories on our own, we're becoming better and better detectives. We're able to clock things early on and not have to wait for all this fake information, fake news. Child, we done already called out a lot of things, and a lot of stuff that's coming out is just confirmation. We can tell when something is not quite right. Okay, and so shout out to all the detectives in the building on today. Hey, T Lady Boogie, welcome. Thank you for joining. All right, so we're going to first start here on today with a short video from Secret Service Sam. And y'all have probably seen him. He has also been boots on the ground as far as keeping a lot of the information, like keeping it with facts and so forth, keeping us well informed with all of these cases, Karmelo Anthony and with Nolan Wells. Okay, because child, it looks like they keeping him so busy. He trying to do his comedy, stand up. Okay, on top of keeping up with these cases. So shout out to him. But I wanted to show a little video that he did, I believe last week. Let me pull that up. Make sure y'all tap that like button. Welcome everyone coming on in. Thank y'all so much for joining.
Sam here with a Karmelo Anthony update. So we're reading the entire 193-page motion. This one stood out to me. Judge Roach, why is he still holding Karmelo Anthony's file in your chambers locked away if there's nothing to hide? The entire court file was sealed, not just specific documents. The sealing was done by an oral order rather than a written order. There was allegedly no written order explaining the decision, no public notice, no open hearing on whether records should be sealed, and no written findings explaining why the public should be denied access. This is honestly one of the most alarming things anybody has ever seen. There are constitutional violations all over the place. If you want a fair trial and there's nothing to hide, then why do this, Judge Roach? And why did Toby Shook and Mike Howard not object to this? Is it because Toby Shook was brought on to make sure that this was allowed to happen? Because any person can see this is extremely unconstitutional.
Now, I even touched on that the last time I talked about this, when we were kind of briefly talking about Carmelo Anthony's case. Um, it goes back, and I stated this and I'll stand on this. If the parents, and I know it's a lot going on right now, but if they think back, okay, to the person that referred Toby Shook and Mike Howard, you're going to reveal a snake. I'm going to be honest. Okay, that's my opinion. Whoever referred these men to me were part of the play. Because it's no way. Both of them, child, and the way they were so quick. Which attorneys, I mean, my thing is this. You had to have handpicked them for this reason, because a typical attorney, the things that they did with this whole behind the scenes agreement, off the record agreement, would not have agreed to that. Or, it would have been more about their ethics and, their integrity, because they are trying a very high profile case. So to me, you would have to have chosen somebody to really get close to the family, to gain the family's trust, okay? And then they referred those attorneys. You will reveal a snake. And I feel like, y'all, in my opinion, there were definitely some deals, promises, possibly money being exchanged for what took place with Carmelo. That is my opinion, though, okay? Because ain't no way you just get some attorneys off the street and they coming in here agreeing to things like this and being a part of this whole big setup.
Why did Toby Shook, a prosecutor 20 plus years and former partner with Bill Werski, allow this to happen? And when did the sealing of the file happen? Before or after Toby Shook joined the team? Why are you hiding this from your own client? He isn't even aware of this. There's nothing on the record about any of this. His lawyers didn't explain why they allowed this to happen. And why is Toby Shook silent to all this? Why didn't he write an affidavit? Why did he come on? When did he come on to the case? Was this his idea? Was it planned with Werski? Where is the affidavit? You can close a courtroom. You just have to say why in writing. A judge is allowed to close a courtroom, but there are rules. You have to explain why. You have to put it in writing.
Now, a Mama Magazine, I don't think that he was randomly chosen. No. In my opinion, I don't think so. I think you're going to also have to have the people that were okay with this. See, he would have been a good candidate because he was on his way out. Allegedly, he's supposed to retire anyways, child. But the way he trying to stay on this case, it makes me question that. What were your real motives? Was that to say, oh, I'm about to retire, I can do this last little case to make it look like you wouldn't have had a big interest in it? No, I don't think he was randomly chosen. I think he randomly wanted this case. Okay, they could have had a change of venue. And someone brought up a very good point. I forgot what I was watching, but they said, why would you have, knowing that you had already released that video where people could come and watch the video during that whole time before the trial, okay, the year before, people could come and watch a video at the district and so forth. That's where your jury pool is located. So you've already kind of tainted the jury pool. So a lot of this was already strategic, in my opinion. I feel like he wasn't random. Let's see. Hey, Walk Faith. She said, walk by faith. Okay, I have to look at it again. Hey, Walk by Faith with Keisha. Welcome. She said, just makes me wonder how many more Black lives they've ruined with gentleman deals. Ooh, parents and so forth. Then, hey, y'all took a gamble, child. But because he said he had 10 minutes, Mike Howard said he had 10 minutes to go in with Carmelo and his parents and explain the deal and pretty much also talk about the solution. Okay, so yeah, it makes you wonder. Hey, Phenomenal Scorpio, welcome, sis.
Have to let people object. None of that happened here. An oral order is one of the kind of order nobody can ever challenge. Here's the part that should bother everybody. He sealed the file by speaking it. No written order. You can appeal a written order. You can test findings, but you can't appeal a sentence somebody said out loud in a room. It's a speeding ticket the officer never wrote down. You can't fight it. You can't appeal it, and there's no record it ever happened. They told his new dream team lawyers June 29th, 2026, promise silence first, then we'll show you the file. This is the one we keep coming back to. His new appellate defense counsel asked to see the file. The court said, sure, in my chambers, and only if you promise not to tell anyone what you see. That's like asking a man to plead guilty before you tell him the charge. So the question here is, what is Toby Crook and Mike Coward hiding from the public? And did they railroad Karmelo Anthony? Secret Service Sam out Samson for president of the world.
Okay, shout out to Secret Service Sam. Now, y'all, he brought up a good point at the end of that. First of all, Toby Shook has not spoken out. He did not do an affidavit. And some people are bringing up, well, why didn't the appeal attorneys bring up ineffective counsel for representing Karmelo because of this deal? Now, I don't know if that was something that they are going to consider later on down the line, but Mike, they call him Mike Coward. I was about to call the man Mike Coward too. Okay, but Mike Howard may have probably thought and caught wind that that's a possibility, and he trying to tell on himself. However, y'all, I started thinking about this thing. Did Mike Howard tell us the full truth about everything, though? With that whole gentleman's deal, was the full truth put out there on some things? Because as I was listening to this Charleston White short snippets that we're going to look at, I started thinking, okay, now we're hearing about the witnesses. You telling us about the character part that y'all weren't allowed to bring that up. However, Mike Howard, what about the evidence? He never brought up the evidence, autopsy reports, all of that. To me, that part doesn't go with character. Okay, how come that part wasn't allowed? So now I'm wondering, although you're coming out seemingly telling on yourself and exposing this off the record deal, did you expose everything, or are there parts that are still missing? Okay. Hey, Wild, she said if there's no record it ever happened, then release everything. Exactly, that part. Hey, love me for real. Yeah. Okay. Welcome, Miss Ross. Thank you for joining. I'm tired of people wondering if mine and Toby railroaded Karmelo. We knew that weeks ago. Yes, we did. Mike Howard would have never made an oral agreement. It would have been in writing if he made it. There was no gentleman's agreement. The only agreement they had was to send Karmelo to prison for 35. Well, I feel like it's both. I feel like, well, for one, if it was just oral and it wasn't anything written, well, he was really dumb in that. Okay. Child, you can't go by no oral agreement. I feel that they do have some type of something on paper just in case. And then I think too that I'm sorry, wow, thank you. I'm a brother. Okay. Look, sometimes I'm used to all women up in here. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Welcome the brothers in the chat. I appreciate it. Shout out to you. And so my thing is, I'm wondering were there any recordings if this thing was all oral. But remember, they said emails were sent and so forth. So there's some type of paper trail. They may try to delete some things, but I'm hoping, okay, that it wasn't just an oral, because it's hard to prove that. And he better hope he has all of his hands clean. Okay. If you did, because best believe they're not going to let you tell on them. And then they don't have something on you. Can y'all hear me? I see someone said there's no sound. Let's see here. I see my bubble moving. Let's see here. What do we have coming down the chat? Shout out to Miss Catherine. Look, I'm thinking about Conda Ross. Catherine, thank you so much for the super sticker and for being a sponsor for today's live. Thank you so much. Mike Howard is not dumb enough to make that agreement. We're going to see. Okay. Okay. The sound is fine. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. Now, another thing that was brought up, let me pull up the actual affidavit. Let's get into that first. We're not going to go through the whole thing. It's snippets that I want to show you all. Okay. Now, the first part was down here in part 15. Hold on one second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Okay, thank y'all for your patience. Okay, so there was one part. Let's go here first. Number 15. Okay, and we're gonna go. Let's go right here midway through. It says that the defense intended to call witnesses who themselves were victims of the Metcalf twins' violence and bullying. The defense intended to question Memorial High School teachers about the Metcalf twins' disciplinary history contained in their school records, which corroborated their character for violence and bullying. And finally, the defense intended to elicit testimony about the Metcalf twins' arrest for racist graffiti. So I was just curious, and like I said earlier, for those of you coming in, I don't know if this was the for sure case, but one thing I do know is that Frisco had many cases and had a problem with racist graffiti. Okay. Now, this particular time, it was two people. Now, you know, y'all, this was at a golf course, okay, over in Frisco. Child, they should have some cameras, okay? They should have some cameras. Hey, Karen Michelle, welcome everyone coming on in. Um, Hey, Ushibad, let's see. Wild said, no, they had it prearranged and Mike would blame it on them in exchange for Mike agreeing to purposely lose the case. This is all about Mike's, the prosecution's, and Roach's plan. No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with that. I feel that yes, there was definitely a plan. Now, I don't know if the part that you're thinking I'm not agreeing is you're saying that Mike Howard knew about the plan before he took on the case. Is that what you're saying? Because I agree, they all knew about it, and was in on it together. I don't think it was just one, like he just came into this and was blindsided and then decided to join. No, when whoever referred Mike Howard and Toby Shook for this, it had to have been someone that would have been okay with this, if that makes sense. That's just my opinion. I don't think you got a random lawyer that is just like, oh, okay, we're going to make this deal, this arrangement, and so forth. Okay, so you believe they made an agreement with Mike that if he purposely lose the case, they will allow Mike to blame it on the fake gentleman agreement. All these races. Oh, okay. Got you. So they used the agreement as like an scapegoat or blame it on the prosecutors. Okay, I see what you're saying. Because they haven't said anything back. Yeah. Okay. So we don't want to court. They haven't spoken up about that. Okay. Toby Shook has not said anything, and the prosecutors haven't said anything. Okay. It's mighty quiet. A lot of people, and I was watching y'all a podcast from someone in Florida the other day. Lo and behold, it's so funny because I wanted to hear, I can listen to different perspectives. They were more of the Metcalf supporters or whatever. And so I was just listening in to the conversation because that lawyer, she was a defense lawyer, and she actually disagreed with some of the things that Mike Howard and the team did. But what I noticed, y'all, towards the end of that live, when she got into the motion for the new trial, guess what she did? She pretty much skipped Mike Howard's affidavit portion and about this whole off the record agreement. She didn't even bring it up. Now, how you going to talk about the motion, which you're only talking about, oh, they're saying they were locked out. Like they want to focus on the part about it not being public. But how you going to go over one of the major things? Your whole life was about their strategy. Now, this was after the fact of when everything came out that there was this off the record gentleman's deal and all of that. This live was after that. So they knew about it because she brought it up at the end of that live. Now, how you going to have a whole live talking about what the defense didn't do, this and that? Well, I could answer every question. Just go look at the agreement. This whole big agreement. They couldn't talk about that. They couldn't bring this up. They could Karmelo only had this. He couldn't go with that. He could. So you can answer your own questions. You cannot bypass the fact that they had some type of deal or agreement. You're missing the whole point. A lot of the experts they couldn't bring in. They couldn't bring up his epilepsy. They couldn't touch on Austin's character, what he did, all of that. Okay, so it just like was so obvious that some people are still trying to turn a blind eye to that. And you cannot do that. Okay, make sure y'all tap that like button. Let everyone know we are live. And what do we have coming down the chat? Shout out to Karen Michelle for the super chat and for being a sponsor. She said, yep, take this loss and we give you a few more wins. Ooh. Okay, you think it was that type of deal. Okay, I got you. Y'all coming on with it. You see how they're not attacking Mike Howard because they're all working together. That's what I agree. It's very quiet. It's very quiet. All right, so let me play this video and let's get into this.
This is Buick now. Buick,
Make sure
exceptional
y'all hit that
by
like
design. Get 0.9% APR on Envista. Plus, current eligible
Now,
non-GM
this
owners
was
get an
May
Envista Preferred
30th,
for under $26,000.
2023.
And I got a text message with a photo of the bunker.
Heard it out.
Linroy Cosley manages Frisco Lakes Golf Club and was on his way to vacation Sunday when he saw a racial slur written out at his club.
I was shocked. I was in disbelief, to be quite honest.
A black golfer playing the par 4 13th hole saw two people running away from the bunker and discovered it.
It hit home, needless to say. So it made me feel extremely sad.
The golfer's daughter posted about the incident on Instagram, saying this has happened too many times in this city. She said they agreed to let Cosley speak on their behalf.
No one needs to.
Now, y'all, I wanted y'all to take note that even if this wasn't the direct case with them, this was happening around that time too many times. There were a lot of racist graffiti cases in Frisco. Okay, I want y'all to take note of that. There was a lot of racism in this county already. And this, although it was May 2023, but notice it was discussed in this gentleman's deal because the defense attorneys allegedly wanted to bring that up, that the boys, the Metcalf boys, were arrested for racist graffiti, okay?
To have to go through that, whether you're black, white, green, doesn't matter.
2 years ago, an identical incident happened 5 miles away at the Trails of Frisco Golf Club.
So that's the sad part, that as a black man at 53 years old, as a general manager of a golf club, we're still dealing with this in 2023.
Cosley says just yesterday they got a prank call for a tee time, and when asked for a name, the caller said the N-word 4 times. All of this is happening in the same city the PGA is headquartered in. They've offered the club assistance.
So I think Frisco is a pretty nice community. It's a diverse community. It's getting better and better.
Police are investigating. Cosley doesn't believe it was a golfer playing that day. He says the man who discovered it decided to persevere and finish their round.
I didn't think that would ever happen, but it did.
In Frisco, I'm William Joy.
Okay, now, what I want to say to that, okay, let me go through because it was multiple places, okay? So it says a Frisco golf club had dealt with 2 incidents of racism in the last few days. That past weekend, Frisco Lakes Golf Club General Manager Linroy L.C. Cosley, he got the photo text message of that. They put the N-word. They blurred it out on the news. Notice it started with the N. They put it all across, okay, in this particular incident. And it was a racial slur written in one of the courses saying bunkers, okay? So he was just talking about pretty much how he was shocked. And then they saw 2 people running away from the bunker, and then discovered the writing. Now, I wonder, did they ever look at the camera to see who the two people were? Now, this was one of many cases, y'all. Like I said, I can't pinpoint it directly, but it was just so ironic. And I found this interesting when I was looking through the cases. This like the main one that had two. Okay. I was like, and for it to be an arrest, it had to have been serious. Okay. It wasn't a little, oh, let me go get a marker and just write on this little building or something. No, if they were arrested for racist graffiti, to me, it would have had to have been something huge or major, right? I'm not saying, once again, that this was that particular incident, but this is one of many that were happening, okay? So then it says it hit home, needless to say. It made me feel extremely sad. The golfer's daughter posted about the incident on Instagram, saying this has happened too many times in the city. The family told WFAA they agreed to let Costley speak. No one needs to go through that, whether you're black, white, green, it doesn't matter. Now, they also said that 2 years before this, an identical sand bunker incident happened just 5 miles away at the trails of Frisco Golf Club. So someone that is familiar with these golf courses, that may know somebody that has memberships and so forth, but y'all, it was constantly happening at these golf clubs, golf courses, right? And so it said the PGA of America condemns all acts of racism and has reached out to the club to see if they could assist them as they investigated. Now, when I checked with ChatGPT to see if this case had been resolved, y'all, they did not show anything publicly where it was resolved. So I don't even know if they found out who the people were. Now, they should have some type of cameras around there, okay? You have a whole golf course, like you don't have cameras. I just don't believe that, but hey, I don't know. This was really happening. And then another black lady, she came on and she said a man that lived down the street was calling her all kind of N-words, writing on her driveway. He was throwing food into her driveway, talking about slaves got to eat. And then one of the other neighbors caught him in the act on her Ring camera. And so it was a lot of this. This is the area where all of this was taking place. Just to give y'all perspective in that, this was that particular area, okay? And so I wanted to share that. I found this quite interesting. So I'm going to keep doing some research, okay, to see if there's a way to pinpoint where was that? When did that particular incident happen? How far or how many years prior to all of this taking place with them at the high school? And then when people calling up to a golf course and you're saying the N-word, calling back to back, that seems like some high school students, okay, playing games. It really does, because those are the games they call in. Y'all know the threats, different types. I don't want to say the word on here, but y'all know different types of threats to try to get out of taking tests and so forth. So I found this quite interesting and quite a coincidence. What do we have coming down the chat? Shout out to T Lady Boogie for the super chat and for being a sponsor for today's live. Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate that. Hey, Chrissy, welcome. Thank you all for coming on in. And also shout out and thanks to T Lady Boogie for she gifted 1 membership. I'm not sure of who received it because I can't see it on the StreamYard side. But welcome to the Open Book members. Shamika said, I'm starting to think that Mike Howard intentionally did not represent Melo by not doing his job. It left a lot of avenues for a retrial or appeal. I believe that. Yes, I definitely believe that. And he didn't do a lot of objections and so forth during the trial either. So that opens up that window. Yes, that's why I was showing y'all. Walk by faith. I don't know for sure though, but it definitely fit the profile, child. I want to know if it was those two, because we do know it obviously is some type of arrest for the racist graffiti. We just don't know which location and how long ago it was. Okay. Now let's get into this other part. Now this, y'all, this next part here, before we get to the Charleston White, what he said, when Mike Howard revealed in this sworn affidavit about the things that the students stated, let me go back to this. It put the Frisco Police Department, in my opinion, on blast also. Okay, now we already found some things wrong with what they did in that arrest record and on body cam. Like, we've kind of talked about that. However, I want us to compare some things, because if Mike Howard is saying that these witnesses stated these particular things on April 2nd, 2025, guess what? There should be a cross-reference of these statements on the police report. Okay? Where are these statements? So we're going to take a look, because we like to bring some facts. So we're going to fact check it and see, well, maybe we missed that part. Maybe we missed it in the arrest record that they said some of these things. So let's look at number 13 here. Okay, the defense's reliance on the agreement. So it says, throughout the trial, the defense revised its trial strategy in reliance upon the agreement. Absent the agreement, the defense intended to cross-examine each memorial student witness the prosecution called about Austin and Hunter Metcalf's character and reputation for violence, for being bullies, and for racism. And also, y'all, take note that Hunter's name is mentioned throughout this sworn affidavit. Like, they were going to pinpoint both of the boys. Okay, I did see a petition out there for people to sign up to have Hunter arrested. I have seen that. I don't know if any of y'all have noticed that there was a petition out to have him arrested, because if they're including him, unfortunately, Austin, he's no longer here, but Hunter is. Oh, Hunter. I wonder if the new appellate attorneys, okay, are going to subpoena Mr. Hunter, okay, or Hunter, as he was nicknaming himself on that video that day, okay, Hunter. Let's see here. It's a whole lot of could have been. Yep, it is. It is. We're still standing by Karmelo, right? Hey, Lord of Footage. Why Melo defense didn't bring up Austin's criminal record? Yes, okay. They're saying that according to that agreement, that was one of the things that they were not allowed to bring up, okay? They could not bring up anything pertaining to also Karmelo's character, which is why they didn't bring up. Now, are you talking about anything bad or good, Felon Tavius? Which one are you talking about? Because they couldn't bring up anything about character. You're welcome, Chrissy. Thank you so much for tapping in. Okay, so the defense also intended to cross-examine these witnesses about various statements they had made to the police on April 2nd regarding Austin and Hunter Metcalf being, notice in quotations, we should see a cross-reference to the police report, being easily triggered, okay, having a loud mouth, being passionate, not allowing themselves to be disrespected. So some specific examples were, Austin's a really big guy, and he's kind of like the aggressive guy on the team. Another example, Austin got the same way that he got during the altercation. It's the same way he got with some of us. And the Mellow kids, something or whatever, and then Austin kind of got triggered. Another example, Austin and Hunter, they're not going to let you disrespect them. And Austin, he's like a big guy, so nobody really wants to fight him. And Austin's really a passionate guy. And Jose told police about Austin's history of fighting and almost getting kicked off the football team for fighting. And then someone else said, I've known Austin for a while. And if Austin is about to get into a fight, you can tell. Last but not least, Austin can be a bit aggressive at times, and he has a bolder mouth sometimes. Now, y'all, with that in mind, we would think that if students are telling what happened, okay, if they are telling what happened, then you're going to tell everything, right? You're just sitting under there and you see what happened. You should have told, oh man, I could tell he was getting triggered. If that's something you're used to seeing, it should have been shown that day as well, right? Okay, so let's go over to the arrest record because we want to do a little cross-referencing on some of these statements that the police put into the record because this was public. Okay, this was already public for us. Let's see. They couldn't bring up whether it was bad or good. They couldn't bring it up. That's what I'm saying. So whether it was something bad in Baton Rouge, they couldn't bring that up. Just like they couldn't bring up Austin's racist graffiti arrest. Okay, so it was like, hey, you don't bring up the bad, we don't bring up the bad. You don't bring up the good, I don't bring up the good. So it was one of those exchanges. Wow, look, I'm saying both. Okay, it's both of them. Both of them. Like they say, both of them. Okay, now let's take a look at this. Officer Otis, let's look at some of the things he said pertaining to some of the statements that the students made. So let's see. Let's go down right here. Okay, so it says the officers on scene were informed that the knife that was used was tossed and was still believed to be somewhere close. Eventually, one of the witnesses said they remember seeing it on the bleacher still. So this is a student, one of the witnesses that came and told this police officer that they saw the knife. I want y'all to clock that for later on, okay? So it wasn't the police finding it. It was a student that said, and then they said eventually. So that means that they have been out there for a little bit. Come on now. If you're saying eventually, that means you had already been out there and y'all didn't even see a weapon. But eventually somebody came over to y'all and said that it was out there. Officer Charles was able to locate the knife. It was located between rows 9 and 10 near C30, closest to the aisle, partially open. The rain began to come down again heavily, and it was determined that instead of moving the knife, the officers would cover it with a large blue tarp. Okay, so let's scroll on down to Weitzel. So there are a couple of witnesses or one witness telling, hey, here's what we saw. Now, right here, we should start seeing some of these statements, okay? Right here it says, when I arrived on scene, I grabbed a roll of crime scene tape from my trunk and proceeded to the visitors' bleachers where dispatch advised the victim was. While I was walking towards the visitors' bleachers, I was approached by a witness who identified himself as Jay. Okay, I don't know his full name. He began telling me what happened, and I asked him where the stabbing occurred. Now, hold up. Wait a second. Jay. Y'all, check this out. Now, I can't verify this for sure, but y'all see right here, look at what that J could possibly mean. Look at the third statement. Austin and Hunter, they're not going to let you disrespect them. And Austin, he's like a big guy. So nobody really wants to fight him. And Austin's really a passionate guy. Then it says, and Jose, which starts with the J, told the police about Austin's history of fighting and almost getting kicked off the football team for fighting. So this Jose, he was telling some business. Okay. He was pretty much telling about the actual fighting, okay, in Austin's history. But then when we get over here, Jose, let's see what all you got to say, okay, if that's him. So he began telling me what happened, and I asked him where the stabbing occurred. He advised it happened under the Memorial High School pop-up tent in the visitors' bleachers. I immediately informed Sergeant Otis where the witness stated the stabbing occurred and gave him the crime scene tape to start securing the crime scene. I then had Blank move to the walkway under the visitors' bleachers out of the rain to further speak with me. The following is a summary of my contact with Blank. Blank advised he was sitting under the Memorial High School pop-up tent with his team and was near the victim, Austin, and the suspect, who was later identified as Karmelo Anthony. Anthony was from Centennial High School and was sitting under the Memorial High School tent. Austin had told Anthony that he needed to move out from under their team's tent. And Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and reached inside and proceeded to tell Austin, touch me and see what happens. No one really thought Anthony really had any weapons in his bag. And Austin proceeded to touch Anthony. And then Anthony told Austin to punch him and see what happens. A short time later, Austin grabbed Anthony to tell him to move. And Anthony pulled out what Blank recalled as a black knife and stabbed Austin once in the chest and then ran away. Austin began grabbing his chest and telling everyone to get help. Blank advised he did not know Anthony's name, but stated another Memorial Track member, EP, Eddie, was friends with Anthony, and he could identify Anthony. Blank described Anthony as a black male, skinny, with possibly a goatee, short, puffy hair, and wearing Centennial High School clothing. This concluded my contact with Blank. Now, where's the part about Austin like possibly being triggered or what they noticed from Austin? It seems so one-sided that we do see words though, like he grabbed him, okay? He touched him. He moved him, okay? So we're saying all of that, but the things that are put into this sworn affidavit are not quite matching up with what they're saying the police statements were. See, on paper, they're not putting all of this, which makes me wonder, were the Frisco police officers also at this time trying to cover up for the Metcalf twins? Okay, because y'all don't have anything in there about what these students said that they said to y'all. Now, my thing is this, a lot of it was probably on body cam. A lot of it, they had their body cameras on. Now, some of them tried to play the game. Oh, I thought it was activated, and it wasn't. Okay, they tried to play that little game. But see, even Jeff Metcalf, on one of his interviews, he said there's other body cam footage. Now, he probably has heard it. Allegedly, I don't know for sure. But for you to know, sir, and it's not public, he knows what's on the body cam. And then why are they not releasing that to the public? Okay, let's see what are y'all saying. Free Karmelo. Hey, Richard, welcome. Thank you for tapping in. What do we have putting down the chat? Shout out to Miss Catherine for the super stickers and for being sponsors for today's live. Thank you so much, Miss Catherine. I appreciate that. Instead of covering the knife with a tarp, wasn't the detectives or police supposed to use their gloves? Come on. Thank you for thinking phenomenal, Scorpio. Okay. Pick up the weapon and put it in the evidence bag. They must be allergic to gloves, child. They didn't even want to try the gloves on in the courtroom. Okay. So it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder about these gloves situations. Okay. It makes you wonder. I thought no one didn't see the knife nor the stab. Hello. A witness came and told the police eventually where it was. Okay, and welcome the trash can boy. Thank you so much, Miss Catherine. Hi, Bunny. Welcome. I'm trying to see because I know I was getting behind on my comments. Well, the dirt is coming out in the wash. You better say that because y'all, it just really has a bad look that the lawyers had all of these statements from the boys or the students that were there. But when you get to the arrest, hey, Walt, when you get to the arrest record, none of these statements are in there. And it's not a good look on that police department because are you being fair in the statements? Because if they're going to say, Mike Howell said, well, we were going to bring this up because we were going to cross-examine. Okay, well, hey, because they could no longer use character, they couldn't even cross-examine these witnesses because that was a part of character. Now, that could have been another reason why they included character in this so-called gentleman's deal because they knew, come on now, what was most likely in those students' statements about Austin when they had already spoken with the police. That was prior to the trial, prior to the deal. Okay, so they probably already knew that, man, they done spoke with them, talked about, they bullies, they didn't, oh Lord, they didn't talk about they fighting, they didn't talk about this, they didn't even include Hunter. So now, okay, if we making this agreement, look, let's do this. Now we can't bring up nothing to do with character, okay? Because they already knew what the students were gonna say. So now the hands were tied from the defense part to cross-examine because it's not showing in the police record. However, they knew of it and they could not cross-examine them on that. Let's see. I hope they fingerprint that knife if it isn't too late. That knife, child, if it's really the knife that they're trying to make it be, because according to Charleston, we're going to hear him, it was a totally different type. Okay, I'm like, wait a second. Now, this is going to be worse than we thought, child, because then that's going to mean not only was there an off-the-record deal, but possibly we putting in new evidence, like you making up something to look a certain type of way, you adding something, okay, that we were already wondering because how was it partially closed and neatly land there if he had just done it and took off running? He wouldn't have had a chance to close it. Okay, so that was already something that we've been pondering, okay, with the whole knife situation. Yes, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Thank you, Mama Magazine. Let's see. At this point, it appears to have been more than one night. Come on now. Hey, my sis, Shelly Shells is in the building. Welcome, sis. Hey, Beverly. Okay, so the reports were done after. Okay, MH info was from body cam. Come on now. That's what I'm saying. They had probably listened to the body cam footage because remember, the police officers were saying they downloaded it into the system. So when they were preparing for trial, they had a chance to go back and they've watched the whole video at Frisco. They know what's on that video. Okay, why do you think they're not showing the full video to the public? They already know what it's going to show. Just like they already knew that people knew how Austin and Hunter were and how they were telling the truth there. They just couldn't do it in the courtroom. They already know. They have seen it. They have seen the body cam footage. But the police didn't put it in the actual report that was public information on how they talked about Austin. It was one-sided. It's only about what Karmelo said. Okay, let's look at what Fisher said. Last one. So Fisher said, let's start here where it says, when I arrived. When I arrived, the crime scene was already marked off and a suspect was in custody. I began asking people if they were witnesses to anything. I made contact with Hunter M. We already know who that is. Hunter should have been subpoenaed to court. But notice in the agreement that they had, Hunter was included with Austin. Now, why are we including Hunter if allegedly he wasn't involved? Why is he a part of a deal when he's not on trial? He's not a victim. Why is Hunter's name a part like they conjoined? Okay? No. He shouldn't have been a part of a deal. Because, bro, you were standing there. Okay, you should have been the first witness really on the stand. But have we ever thought about why Hunter's name was a part of a deal and he wasn't even charged nor the victim, but his name is included on there? It's not making sense. Okay, it's really not making sense. So then he goes on to say, and then EP, Eddie, they were both breathing heavily and crying due to the nature of events. They were with coaches on the field and it was pouring down rain. We made the decision to relocate to a locker room. With all those little tents out there, y'all wanted to relocate to a locker room. Okay. Just to the east to get out of the rain. Once in there, things calmed a little bit. However, they were still hysterical and could not really talk. In there, I learned Hunter was the brother of the victim. So he's the brother. He was there. Okay. So we see that right here. He put that in the report. I attempted to ask them both what had happened. I could not really get anything out of Hunter. Same way on those interviews he did. Anytime it came to the meat of what happened, nobody could get it out of him. Notice he was shut down. I can't talk about that. I can't talk about that. Okay, he never wanted to get into the meat. So it seems as though the police officer couldn't get it out of him that day either. But Blank stated he wanted to speak. I asked him what happened, and he stated they were all sitting on the bleachers under a Memorial High School tent when another male who he did not know walked over and sat under the tent. He lied to the police because if this is Eddie, you do know Karmelo, right? Okay. Blank then said Austin, the victim, told this male that since he did not go to Memorial, he had to leave the tent. Austin and the male went back and forth, and then Austin stood up and pushed the male. Oh, this time he got to push the male to get him out of the tent. Blank had said during this time of arguing, the male was reaching around in his bag he had. It was at this time the male took out a knife and stabbed Austin and then left the scene. He didn't leave the scene. He was still at the scene when the cops came. This was all Blank remembered when he talked to me. Okay, still none of the statements that we've seen that Mike Howard put in here. We never heard anyone saying he was a really big guy, that he was aggressive. We never heard that he's gotten into previous altercations. This kind of reminded me of when this, or, he gets like this with some of us. So maybe Karmelo felt a little scared that day. None of that. Okay. They never said, he usually gets into fights or anything like that. That's not on there. We didn't hear he has a bolder mouth sometimes. Maybe he was talking smack. How did he say it to Karmelo? No one really went into details about what Austin did, even on paper, before we got to the trial. They never really talked about his demeanor, his character, how it all came out. Because I'm pretty sure that it was not excuse me, sir, can you please move out of our tent? No. Because had they said he's the type that you're not going to disrespect him, then that would have given the whole context of this situation a different appeal. Okay. So that was left out intentionally. And my thing is, I hope the appeal attorneys look into that, because there is obviously for Mike Howard to have this on the affidavit, there's some proof that students had once upon a time said those things about Austin. And it was not on the arrest report. So there must be other body cam footage or somewhere where these students were saying those things, and they could not cross-examine them on that day. Okay, let's see what y'all saying. Hi, Phyllis. Welcome. Yes, thank you, and welcome to the open book. We appreciate you for being here. Also, what's coming down the chat? Shout out to Campbell Shell for the super chat and for being a sponsor. She said, I keep hearing Lil Wayne Duffel Bag Boy every time I hear or think of Trash Can Boy. Okay, Trash Can Boy, y'all made Trash Can Boy private his social media. Okay, a lot of these friends, so-called friends, they are privating their social media when they feel that people have caught wind of who they are, because they know that it's more to the story. Okay, same situation in Nolan Wells, his case. They started privating their lives and all of that. It's about to go down. It's official. The new legal motions have to be put on docket for public viewing. Exactly. It don't make sense because the deal don't exist. Wild is still stuck on the deal. So Wild is saying that he believes there is no deal at all. That Mike Howard did this whole sworn affidavit. It was no deal. He just put deal in there to make it look like a deal. Okay. He did start stuttering. He really did. Yes. Welcome, everyone. Thank y'all for joining. I know I got behind. We know all these cases have written details that are missing. Right. I keep my focus on Karmelo case with Nolan. Erder updates coming steady since Instagram posts and comments exposed. Yes, it's a lot coming out with that case for sure. Let's see. Oh, come on now. We had fun last night. Shout out to Shelly Shells in the building. Okay, she hosted a music night. That was one of our rewards from last week of meeting our goals. So I have to come up with a new reward for this week. Okay, shout out to Shelly. Hey, Karen, let's see. Has anyone seen the video that shows where it looks like Hunter handed something to the guy that ran to the trash can? Yes. A lot of us have seen that. But I couldn't tell who handed it to him. So are you saying you think it's Hunter? I don't recall the versions of testimonies during trial. They never testified about seeing the knife nor stab. Ooh, okay. Now that's a good point right there. That's a very good point. Because if a witness I'm glad we went back through this. If a witness, one of the police officers is saying that a witness told him where the actual knife was. That's how they were able to go over to the bleachers 9 and 10, C30, I'll C30, and see it. Now, none of those witnesses brought that up. There we go. Okay, it's a lot that I feel this is all connected, y'all. This was all starting from that day. It didn't start with pre-trial. This started back on that day of how do we write this out? What do we put on here? Leave out. Okay, we have certain cops thought the cameras were on. They're not. We even think that we caught Officer Ricky when after Karmelo said, I'm not alleged, I did it, didn't. You know, some people are saying they hear it did. Okay, she goes over after that, she caught it, goes over, does a quick move like she was trying to turn it off. And then she goes back over there with Officer Cortez and Karmelo. Okay, where's the rest of her footage? Or was that it? Because we saw you fumbling with it. So certain things were left out intentionally, in my opinion. Okay, they wanted to get what they could get and then create this narrative, create the whole coaching part of the witnesses, then this whole agreement that, hey, they're saying they got it, I don't know. Okay, all of this was put into motion to potentially set up, and as we've seen, it is a huge setup of Karmelo, and it's not fair. Remember, the caller said he didn't know what happened or who did it. Let's see, the caller. Which caller, sis? I'm trying to remember. The jersey that Hunter is wearing, people tell me what you think about that. It has Karmelo's sentencing numbers, 35. Oh, I didn't see that. I'm going to have to check that out. How did they suddenly know where the knife was? Possibly planted there. Thank you, Walk by Faith with Keisha. That's what we're saying. Because in the report, he specifically said eventually. Okay? Eventually. So they have been there, seems, and then they were somebody came over to them. They didn't come across the knife. One of the people there, a witness, came and told them where it was. It was probably one of these students. But like you said, who testified to that? Who stated that they found the actual knife? Because we don't know if y'all put it there and then said, oh, it's up there. Okay, because they were moving around a lot. You had officers taking witnesses on the stands, the little bleachers. Then you had officers taking witnesses over to locker rooms. I mean, what are y'all doing? You have a lot of people paying attention at that time to Austin on the bleachers right there laid out. So you don't know if someone went back up there and put it there. Okay? Like, really, really think about that. Oh, Mason. Okay. Oh, really? He didn't know what happened or who did it. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to find my 911 call and listen to that again. That's a good point. All right. So, y'all, let's get into this Charleston White, because now that we're talking about the knife situation, he did bring that up on one of the clips I want to show. Let's look at this first clip, and this is by Vlad TV. Shout out to him. He did a complete a complete interview with him if you're going to check out the whole thing, but we're not going to look at the whole thing, just a little snippet.
Well, somebody who did not meet all the charges was Karmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
Now, you called me right after he got convicted, and you said you had been crying all night.
Been crying for 2 days about the baby.
Right.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Wow.
And you tried to set up an interview with me and the family,
Yeah,
but
you and the dad, yeah.
but the dad wanted money. I just didn't feel right paying someone for a situation like that. So I ultimately said, listen, if they want to come and talk.
Oh, really? Okay. Thank you for telling me, Karen Michelle. Okay. My question is, how was Hunter able to go home and change clothes with all of that blood on his clothes? I don't know. Okay, so this is what I may do. Let me pull it up. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Thank y'all for your patience. I'm going to pull it up a different way. Okay, here it goes.
Said you had been crying all night.
Been crying for 2 days about the baby.
Right.
Yeah.
And you tried to set up an interview with me and the family, but
you and the dad, yeah.
But the dad wanted money. I just didn't feel right paying someone for a situation like that. So I ultimately said, listen, if they want to come and talk, I'll give a platform. I just don't feel right about paying them. They ultimately went somewhere else and so forth. But then you completely reversed your stance on this whole situation.
Okay, now also the parents did do an interview after the trial on the, I think it was Breakfast Club, but it was, I think, Monique TV. So they eventually did come out and do a trial on that, interview on that.
Yeah.
So what happened between
I processed the hurt feelings because I was really emotionally affected by it. And I don't stay in my feeling as a man. If it hurt today, it won't hurt tomorrow. You think about it tomorrow. So I put up $75,000 for the appeal. Me and the dad cried for a day, man, working this shit out. They wanted to start another GoFundMe. Right now, nigga, we ain't doing that. The strongest man in the land is the man who wake up and ain't got to ask nobody.
Okay, hold on a second. So they started GoFundMe.
No, they did start a GoFundMe.
They did not.
They did not.
Okay.
They made a suggestion, and I said, no.
Okay.
Fuck a GoFundMe, nigga.
So who paid for the lawyers for the initial case?
The first GoFundMe.
So that's what.
Now remember, they had the GoFundMe, but then it kept getting reported. They paid out the first trial, but when they tried to do like Give, Go, Send, then it got reported. Okay, now he's saying that he gave the $75,000, and I know y'all, it was a lot of people, myself included. I did not understand why he flipped on this family after the trial. He is going to explain some of that, but the main part that I really want us to get to is the part where he brings up the evidence part of this, because it's going to confirm some things we've already been thinking about. Okay.
Say they had a GoFundMe initially.
Yeah.
And how much did that make?
$600,000.
$600,000. Okay, did all that money go to
The
lawyers?
lawyers took it all.
Okay.
This,
It is a murder case, so that's not out of the ordinary.
$600,000.
And my thing is, can y'all give them a refund Okay, if it was 600,000 and the lawyers took everything and y'all had a whole alleged off the record agreement, child, where's my money back? Because none of that should have been a whole washout this whole trial. Throw it all away, and I want my money back. Because y'all played that family and played Karmelo.
So, it's about maybe 100, 200. Not no 600.
Could be. I mean, depending
Could've
on how
been
big
no
the legal
600.
team is and how much lawyers
You
actually
saw
charge.
two motherfuckers in there? Nah. One mother, nah, hell no.
Okay.
This was a scam job done on the family. New family, new to the area, don't know a single soul out in a suburban, rural, sundown town, Collin County. It's a sundown town.
No blacks.
This is no. Blacks, but blacks be inside. Sundown town is niggas don't let the sun catch your ass.
Right, Mama Mac.
That's the sundown. So you
Okay.
can be here, but don't let the sun.
So you have to stay inside.
There you go.
At
Why?
nighttime.
Because you're up to no good. So everything black get pulled over out here at nighttime. You know that.
Okay.
Nigga, everybody know coming through Dallas, Oklahoma, when you get through Collin County, you better hit them brakes. You might still get 10 years for a quarter pound of weed out there. So remember, so after that, homie, for 2 days.
And I believe that too. I just don't believe the 75,000. I'm gonna be honest, because he was throwing out different amounts. First 10, then 75, then this, then that. I'm like, you just throwing out amounts. Or is there proof that you really gave these amounts?
Because during the jury voir for a year straight, homie, the dad kept telling me, man, I think this lawyer go sell my son up the river. So I told him, man, get Mitch Nolte, Shannon Ross. Mitch and Shannon said it's not about, we're about money later. But those other lawyers in the beginning who was brought to the family by a community leader. So the family had community leaders and civil rights, Black Lives Matters lawyers before they had criminal attorneys.
Okay, so was Crump part of this or no?
He's trying to say it without saying it, y'all. Who was referring these lawyers? And allegedly, Karmelo's father felt that it was a setup in the beginning with the attorneys.
Crump's in the background now.
Okay.
Let me break. So it was Dominique Alexander. Dominique Alexander is a well-known convicted child abuser. So he's discredited off the bat. Guy been convicted of abusing children. He always comes in and play the race card. So he's the local Al Sharpton in the city. He comes in by way of Ben Crump and all of them. He's like the footground soldier for Ben Crump now. Sean King and all of them. So he goes and make contact with the family. They show up with civil rights, talking race, not criminal. One thing I can say in the beginning, the Metcalf father came in peace, wanted to pray together. I told the father that was one of the first mistakes y'all made, was not praying, not being willing to accept their father. And he was willing to.
The victim's father wanted to meet with the parents, of Karmelo.
He wasn't angry at first.
Really?
He was saying, this is kids.
Yeah.
This is
my thing is this. If that was just about prayer at the beginning of that conference that they did, then it could have basically just been, okay, thank you for coming. Let's pray right quick. And then this is a private conference, like, why is that being made a big deal back then? Just because they didn't want that, like they had a different purpose. It was already a heated situation. They were getting death threats. Their GoFundMe was being reported because people were saying they were using the funds to buy certain things. So his mom said that's the reason that they came out to do the press conference, was to let people know the funds are being used towards the trial. They weren't just trying to come out here and really say anything until they were going to put a block on the funds because of all of the reports. Yes, don't forget to hit the like button. Okay, I would never trust this man. It seems like he's an informant. I've heard that too, sis. I've heard that a lot of people feel like he is like a type of informant.
This is what got me on their side. When I saw the Anthony family with Dominique and them playing the race card, I'm saying, why would they play the race card? Homie, Dominique, no. This is in Collin County. This is like trying to go to the Delta's part of Mississippi talking hip hop. So I'm saying, why would they be playing race? And this man is saying forgiveness. Let's make it right. So the father showed up to the first initial press conference. The first initial press conference. Do you know what they did to that man? They spit in his face and kicked him out and shamed him. Not the Anthony family, the civil rights leaders, the black community leaders spit in this man's face. So they created this disdain because he came for a hug. Man, let's work it out. So when I saw that, I said, man, why would they do that?
Okay. Now, let me get to, and I know people have their thoughts, and I do too. I want to get to what I my ears perked up to, because it goes with some things we've already been talking about as it pertains to the evidence in this case. Okay, give me 1 second, because I have to do this a different way, y'all. Make sure y'all tap that like button. Okay, I think this is it.
So hear me out. So after the trial, I spent a year trying to get black people to look at this case. I've been saying, hey y'all, it's a black kid over there. Hey y'all, white kid died. Y'all don't care about the white kid. But no, now, and I'm saying, I've been telling y'all about.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get to the
talking to him as a father. Came down to the courtroom and courthouse during that trial. Girl, I still got it. So when he lost his job, I hired the father and created a position for him. I ain't need no road manager, but I created a road manager position for Mr. Karmelo Anthony's dad.
Right, double.
And paid him. When the hit got put out, I waited 2 days. Why?
Give me 1 second. Because I had all my videos together on the computer, but I'm going to do this a different way. Hold on 1 second.
This one I didn't have all the facts. This is when I believe he took a knife to school because he was being bullied. When I found out it wasn't a knife, he wasn't bullied the day before.
It was a knife.
It wasn't a knife.
I saw it.
It wasn't a knife.
That's a knife.
It wasn't a knife. They hadn't showed the knife. They hadn't showed it.
Okay, but I saw a picture.
That's not the real knife.
So the green.
That's not the real knife.
So allegedly, he's saying the knife that we're seeing in the pictures, okay, the evidence photos. Now, remember, it looks like it's 2 different ones for number 1, okay? But he's saying that allegedly that's not even it.
You know why? Because if that was a real knife, let me tell you something. If that was a real knife in the state of Texas, he would have been charged for having a weapon on a school property.
This is it right here.
That's not the knife.
That's not the knife?
He's showing the green one on the ground.
They haven't shown none factual evidence of that case yet. No video, no knife.
Literally, if you do a Google image search, all you see is the same knife.
I'm telling you, that's not the knife.
So what is this?
So
this is on K-Fox, I'm saying on NBC, so forth and so forth.
They haven't showed y'all the whole video, and they haven't showed y'all the knife. No.
So he's saying we already know about the video, y'all. They have not shown the whole video. He's saying also, in addition to that, they have not shown the real knife that Karmelo had. Remember, we just said that a witness came eventually to the police, and that witness pointed it out. The police had been up there and had not found it. Okay, so then they went up and looked between bleachers 9 and 10, seat 30, and that's where they found that knife or whatever that tool is on the ground, right there in the bleachers.
Nobody has seen the whole video. And why you think he wasn't charged with a weapon on school property?
Once again, and this even shows how long the knife is.
I swear to God, that's not the knife. Okay. I swear.
So what was it?
I'm telling you, in the state of Texas,
the victim died. So what did he establish?
They haven't showed you the knife, they haven't showed you the autopsy report, and they haven't showed you the video. It was a multi-factional tool that has the flathead screwdriver, the bottle opener, what else? Another little knife on it.
You said it's a Swiss Army knife?
The Boy Scout thing, and it was that big. So I'm telling you, the news media have deliberately not showed you the knife. They haven't showed you the whole video. They haven't showed you the whole video. Hold on, listen. And number three, they haven't showed you the autopsy report. Why? That little old bitty knife when it went through his heart. Why? He didn't stand up. The boy sat down the whole time while he was being slammed.
So he's saying that the real one, okay, allegedly, right? The real one is like a small one that the Boy Scouts use. It would not have been big enough to make that cut. That's one thing that he's alleging. Now, he's also saying we haven't seen the real video, all of the video, which we have not seen the clear one. They have not released that, the full thing, right? We have not seen the full autopsy. The only thing they've put out was that diagram, okay? But notice, y'all, when you have an autopsy, it comes with the toxicology report. It comes with the narrative that the medical examiner writes out to explain what all of that is. He's stating that we haven't seen the full autopsy either. I believe that part. And the reason I believe that part is because I had requested those records even with the Tyrone Davis case, and I know all the pieces that come with it. That's not the full thing that they put out there. Okay. And then it's questionable when you're in court and the police did not want to touch it, they're saying, because of what they have gloves. Officer Ricky, when she came up when she was arresting Karmelo, it's so ironic that she has some blue gloves on. So you mean to tell me y'all don't have a pair of gloves inside of your car, the trunk? Where did she get those blue gloves from? So it's alleged, but I can believe that. Okay, I can believe that they weren't trying to demonstrate with that or none of that.
I brought a knife to school, and the knife was intentionally to scare or harm. Why wouldn't I put it out initially at the beginning of the conflict? So hear me out. This kid this is why he wasn't charged with a weapon and got 20 more years. Because he would have got 20 more years for the weapon on school grounds. Because it's against the law to have a knife, a gun, or anything at school. So we got charged with a weapon. That's number one. You only got charged with the murder, not the weapon. Texas don't let crimes go. If you got a gun, you only get charged with the gun possession. He didn't have a knife. It was a tool that Boy Scouts used. Whatever term they used, it was Boy Scouts tool. And the media haven't showed it. The media haven't showed the full video where he's approached by 4 big football players. And he never stands up. Throughout the whole video, this kid never stands up. You know why it reached his heart? At an angle, a little old bitty piece. But if you look at the autopsy report, it's something in that kid's system that contribute to the injury.
Okay, that was all in that. Okay, so he's saying if you look at the autopsy report, the toxicology, then yes, it would show something else contributed to the death. Okay, not just the knife that they had, that he says the real knife, is a smaller one. And see, this is why, and this is why I go back to, let me take his picture now. This is why I go back, y'all, to the evidence. That's not character. I brought this up in the beginning of the live. Why is it that Mike Howard and Toby Shook, if that's not a part of character, all of the little things you said y'all couldn't bring up, evidence was not included in there? Okay, so why did y'all not go into the actual weapon, forensics, to talk about fingerprints and so forth? It's missing a lot of that. He didn't touch on the evidence. He touched on witnesses. We couldn't talk about the character. I couldn't cross-examine. Now, as far as the experts, as far as like the seizures, okay, or neuropsychologists, he brought those up. But what about who did the fingerprints? Like, did the actual incision match that weapon that was used? Did Karmelo even say, like, what was his part? He never got up to tell us. Did he say that was his, the one that's on the picture, and that they brought a replica in the court or left the other one in the bag? Like, what did he say about it? Okay, but he's saying we haven't seen the real video, allegedly, the autopsy report, and the actual weapon. That means that this thing would be an even bigger cover up than what we originally thought. We already know a lot of shady stuff was going on. We could see all of that based off of what's just come out. However, if there's any truth to this, that means, y'all, that there's a whole other layer with the evidence part. Okay, because we haven't heard any forensics, experts getting up there. And then y'all consider this. The video expert even said, I went back and looked at his transcript, that he even could not see under that tent. So what do you want jurors to be able to do? If you're the expert and you could not even see what happened under the tent, then what are they supposed to do? What are we as the public supposed to do with that? That's why they're hanging on to the clear version. Because see, if it was something to really incriminate Karmelo, this was the time to really just release it. Okay, just lay it all out there. Look, we trying to hold on to it, but we're gonna go ahead and put it out since this new little deal has been exposed. Let's expose what really happened under the tent. No. They're not gonna do that. They already know how it went down. Other people have been saying that allegedly it could have been something in Austin's system. Some people have questioned, why did the ambulance stay there? Why did they not, knowing that you have a heart situation where you've been stabbed in the heart, that is something serious. That is an emergency. You're going to get him on that gurney and get him out of there. Why was there such a delay in them getting him out of there? So there are different questions. The autopsy report, no, I didn't need to get to the parents' consent when I ordered the one for Tyrone Davis. No, it was a part of public information. The toxicology report as well. And unfortunately, it was some stuff in there they probably didn't want to get out, Now, yes, if they want to push the issue, they have to go to court though, and get it, certain things sealed themselves. If the family is not comfortable with certain pictures getting out, certain information on the toxicology report and so forth. But has his parents done that step? Do we even know if they've done that step? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. They got everything in the chambers, child, in a file cabinet, sealed from everybody. Okay. Jazzy said, I was wondering where the other tools were on the multi-tool. Oh, come on, Jazzy. Okay, right. All charges should be dropped. Baby, no need for retrial. Drop it. Go release Karmelo today. With all of this stuff coming out, that man should be released. Young man, because he's still young to me. He should be released today. It's so much stuff that is wrong with this case. Child, release him till they get him a new trial. Throw this trial away. The whole thing, the judges, the attorneys, the evidence, the witnesses. We need new witnesses. We need new everything. New courtroom, child, new venue, all of that. I'm sick of it. We're finding out too much corruption. Too many things contributed to this setup. Okay, if this is true. And I'm going to say a big if. Okay, now I don't agree. He talked about a whole lot, y'all. And I don't agree with it, okay? But that part there, I wanted to highlight that because there are some questions I still have about the evidence and the reports and so forth. All right, let's see what y'all saying. And they typically keep gloves in their cars because they never know what they are about to encounter. Exactly. I didn't believe the whole glove thing. Yeah, they put out that Karmelo ran away and tried to hide the knife. They was building the false narrative in the beginning. Ooh, okay. Say that again. That's what we wonder in the Mama Magazine. Okay. Shout out to Karen Michelle. Welcome to the open book. Members, you were already family, but now you are a member. Yeah, they sentenced Karmelo with pretty much no evidence, child. Not enough, if anything. Not for a whole murder for 35 years. They gave him more years than they gave Mystical, child. And I like Mystical music, but hey, he had a whole great, charge. And he only got 20 years. Now, Karmelo ain't never been in trouble on a whole charge that y'all didn't even prove beyond reasonable doubt. Child, just throw the whole thing away. It's so sad. His conscience bothering. Yep, he knows. Yeah, and even when he did this interview, y'all, you could see the difference in his eyes. I don't know what was going on the last little time or whatever, but it seemed like he was a little more just, I don't know the word. I don't want to, because then it'll be like I'm accusing of him doing something. So Austin, I don't know. I'm not going to say that Allegedly, he's saying it was something else in his system that contributed. Okay. They didn't show the stab wound or nothing. That look could have OD'd on something. They wanted everything to be about the tent, but you couldn't see what happened under the tent. Just diabolical, right? And y'all, we've already noticed the difference in size as far as over the course of years. It's almost like he was really, really skinny, kind of like Karmelo size. But then over a year or so, they grew like like it just like whoo, so that's why. And then it was alleged that some of the kids even said that morning they had taken something. You see what I'm saying? So you get all of this. That's important to bring up, because if it is the case, you get this superhuman like emotions and strength, and like you get mad, like it causes a whole other reaction. So that should have been brought up if that was the case. Right, Double. He didn't. Let's see here. Ray Charles could have told them they wouldn't be able to see. Not Ray Charles. Okay. Come on now. Right, Katrina. We still don't know about that part. Okay. Did they even do that? Because even when Officer Cortez, he did his narrative, child, he said they were so busy taking Karmelo down, trying to hurry up and put him in some jail clothes before his mama could get there. Okay. Child, all I remember at the end of that report, if y'all notice, let me go to that report right quick. If y'all notice, it's like they were sneaking, just like they hurried up and they snuck him out of here, trying to get him to that prison with the Metcalf man. Okay. That was the warden. That's what they were trying to do to Karmelo pretty much in the beginning. They trying to sneak and do all of this stuff. Let me see. Where was his? I want to show y'all. That's if they did one. Was this Cortez? Okay. Right here. Okay, notice this last paragraph. Yeah, last paragraph. Upon arriving at the Frisco jail, Karmelo was escorted in the intake area. For Frisco Police Department jail staff changed him out into his jail attire. Okay, child, they probably took him right to a cell after that. They probably did not question him. It's probably no interrogation video. They hurried up, give me your clothes. And we got to get you in these jail clothes. Okay, let's do your fingerprints right quick before your mama get here. They want to make sure they get a doggone mug shot. Child, they were rushing so fast, so Cortez had to hurry up and put Karmelo's clothes in a plastic bag, child, and put them in the trunk. He didn't even have time to stop by the evidence room. Okay, who collected the evidence? That's what I want to know. Who took a hold of the actual tool? Because all I heard him talk about was he got the clothes. Was that a separate person? That's too many people touching the weapon. You got this one. He got the weapon. He got the clothes in the trunk. Crime scene investigator got to go into the trunk to get the clothes. Well, did the crime scene investigator go to the bleachers to get the tool, the knife? Like, what? That's too many people doing too much. You should have one central person with the evidence bag. You turn that into the proper department at the police station. We should not be stashing clothes in the car. It looked like setup. Okay. All of this. Where are the witnesses? All of the body cam footage. Like, come on. It was too much. They were trying to hurry up and do stuff. Okay, shout out to Ms. V for becoming a member. You were already family, but now you are a member. Austin's mom said he passed away at the hospital, not the stadium. Check the videos when the incident took place. I'm questioning everything. And I can believe that he did not probably, pass away at the stadium. They probably did get him there. But he's saying that whatever happened to him, it was some other stuff contributing to the death. Okay. I want to also know, why did it take the ambulance so long to get up out of there? Because they need to be checking into that. Had they gotten to the hospital faster, could there have been a different result? Like, what were they sitting there doing? They need to look into that. Still trying to figure out how mom made it to the hospital from Grapevine before the ambulance. Okay. I'm questioning all of their statements at this point. Okay. Because we already see how that went when we tried to give people the benefit of the doubt, and y'all had a whole lot going on. It's a lot of higher ups involved. It is. It really is. Thank you so much, Miss V. I appreciate the support. Let's see here. Exactly. Wow, I can say that and agree with that too. All charges, right, honey? 5K. All charges should be dropped, like T.I. said, expeditiously. Okay. The truth has been coming out, right? The parents were already there due to the incident that went on at the middle school. We know the father was there. She was probably in the vicinity. I know they're beating themselves up because their plan backfired. Now it's possible he may get a new trial, right? And some people are being exposed, but even with that, we don't know if there are going to be any consequences. These people have been getting exposed for different things. But when is someone going to hold them accountable and bring about charges and take them to jail? You're so worried about putting Karmelo in jail, but y'all got stuff too. Y'all got dirt going on as well. So that's what I'm just not understanding. They do need a retrial because Karmelo needs to clear his name and reputation. Yes, he needs to be exonerated. He needs everything erased. He should not even have a number in the system. I'm pretty sure he was playing both sides. What I can say, y'all, although I don't agree with him, I listened to another part of what he was talking about with the watermelon felon t-shirts. Now, I still don't agree with t-shirts. However, I think he used it to gain access to some funds and was almost playing the middle part, right? To try to work it where certain racist people will buy that t-shirt. He's saying that he was still helping the family with money. They didn't have money allegedly to get Karmelo's medicine and needed some things. And so he was like, they kind of knew about the t-shirt. I don't know how true that is. But he was still allegedly giving money. Like I say, I don't know. I'm just being the messenger on some stuff he was saying in another part of that interview. So in a sense, I see that he has a mindset of like, I'm trying to see how to word it. Like, being controversial enough to make money. Like some people like the drama. Some people like anger makes people gravitate towards some things, if that makes sense. Like I see he has a business sense on how to make money, although we may not agree with the ways he does it. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm saying it the right way. I know what I'm trying to say, but I don't know if I'm voicing it the right way. Hi, welcome, Terry. Karmelo was made an example. Yes. The message is don't stand up to the mediocre as Caucasian kids, no matter if they're racist bullies. I ain't got my glasses on. I know that's right. Yeah, it took 5 police officers. How come that wasn't brought up? Oh, it wasn't brought up because Hunter was also a part of the deal. Okay. I don't know, the Queen's Den. It's possible. Hey, LaShondra. The cops had clothes in one hand and a razor in the other. A razor? What kind of razor? I don't even think you are allowed to question a minor. No, you're not. You're not. They were breaking all kind of laws. Okay, think about the boys there in New York when they were being questioned outside of their parents. They ended up doing all of that jail time. What were they called, y'all? The 6? I always forget. But y'all know who I'm talking about, that were wrongfully accused of unaliving and assaulting the white lady in the park. And they were questioning those kids outside of their parents being there and were wrongfully accused and had to spend years. That some of them, 2 of them in their grown-up years, and they have so much anger and mental issues going on right now, and then the others, they turned it around for their good after they got out. But yes, you're not supposed to question them outside of their parents. And see, the thing of it is the phones that they had, they said that some of their parents, the ones that were recording things, started getting lawyers. So the police department started getting scared. That's why we weren't hearing a lot about the cell phone footage, because some of them started getting lawyers, lawyering up, and they didn't want to deal with that. So then we didn't hear anything else about the cell phone footage that they captured, because we know that they did. Those kids were recording. Kids record fights. They already had the prison van there the morning of the. Thank you. Say that again. Baby, they must have already called the van before the verdict came out. Okay. They already knew how the verdict was going to go. The people were probably already sitting there with the van, because it's no way you would have had a chance to do that whole process overnight like that. And not even clearly overnight. It seemed like it was already there midday. So then they could just get the verdict. All that was just for the public, a formality. It wasn't real. They already knew what they were going to do. And let's hurry up and get him up out of here. They were trying to hurry up and do all of this before Dr. Candace Matthews came as well. They knew she was on her way. So they was like, let's speed this up. Let's get so these people can get out of here with the protesting and all of that. Yeah. And thank you for joining, Angie. Let's see. When I was a booster, we stayed in a room at the store for hours. Okay. So Hunter said he was holding his brother, but he lied. Yeah, he already was lying. Even the coach said he was pushing him back while he was applying pressure to Austin's wound. Okay, they said they got Austin stabilized and it didn't appear to be a life or death situation. And that's why they didn't rush to the hospital. But you know what? Phenomenal Scorpio, something that you just said made me think of this. Now, why though? I don't care if they were stabilized or not. Why are you still taking your time? You know what else it makes me think about? Officer Cortez. Do y'all remember when he was kneeling down next to Karmelo? He was putting Karmelo in handcuffs. And remember that he was listening to the radio. What did he tell them? Y'all can slow down now. Wait, what? We have a whole emergency situation. Kids are running everywhere. We got a young man up here. His life is on the line. You got one right here is a suspect. You're trying to handcuff, get him to jail. You got all kind of chaos. And you telling people to slow down. So you got an officer telling people to slow down. And you have the ambulance taking their time. Wow. They need to look into that as well. Seriously, Grapevine is by the airport. That's a little drive. Yes, that is far. And you have traffic. Hey, Tracy. Hi, Dario. Thank you for joining. Even if exonerated, those scholarships are null and void. His entire life has been taken from him. Well, I'm going to speak faith. I'm going to say that God is a restorer, and that with everything that the enemy tried to take and do to him, that God will restore his name, those scholarships, money, any loss that he has experienced because of this, that it'll be restored back to him. And God is able. I'm going to believe that for him. Hunter's phone was in the mother's car because they had just left a meeting at the middle school for the twins bullying incident or bullying a student. Yeah, so she was probably still there. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think it was the Central Park 5, something like that. Yes, y'all know who I'm talking about. Yep. The only thing Susan Wooten received was money. Let's see, that we already said what we already knew. CW never gave the yeah, I don't believe about the money. Now that part, no, I agree. I don't believe he gave that money. I did, like, my ears perked up. Exonerated 5. Thank you. That's it. Yes, it was 5 of them. I don't know about that, Tracy. I haven't heard about that case. They all lied from the jump, locked them all up, pets and all. Okay. Yeah. So he can be restored. No, Stacy, I don't believe so. But like I said, we haven't gotten, well, we got a little diagram. But when I was reading it and I put in that information into ChatGPT based off of that diagram, it said that that cut was a part of the heart area and upper abdomen. I was thinking when you say abdomen, like your lower abdomen, because I was like, well, did he get cut twice? But it seems as though it just kind of was deep like that, where it was the upper abdomen / kind of heart area. And that particular wound caused more internal bleeding than external. That's what it stated. He surely did say, y'all can slow down now. I said, what he mean if they trying to save a life? Yes, Miss Lady T. That is suspect to me. And then you have the ambulance waiting, and then you have him telling them to slow down. For what? I ain't going to even say what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, huh? Girl, He wants to be a lawyer. I'm speaking that these attorneys that took this pro bono will pay his college or give him a scholarship. Okay, that can happen too. I believe the parts were still there, are very close. The parents. Okay. But the mom said specifically she was in Grapevine. A Google search will show that's too far for her to beat the ambulance, especially with traffic too. Yeah. Okay. Thank y'all so much for clarifying. Yeah. So I don't know, y'all. We're gonna see, but I feel like it's some things that Mike Howard has still not owned up to or spoke regarding this case and how extensive this perceived or oral, or I don't know if they wrote it out, deal was, because he never really mentioned evidence. That's not character. That's not extraneous acts. You're bringing up particularly the weapon. If you're going to have a whole murder charge, why did you not counter about the evidence, the weapon? And then now we're hearing from CW that may not have even been the weapon. We already thought it was two different ones based off of the pictures. Okay, now you mean to tell me if it was some? See, the thing of if it was something smaller, y'all, they already knew that wasn't gonna get past people, because people would say, "Well, man, how did Karmelo do that?" See, I think the one that we're seeing, the big one, was what they were using to put up the tents. It was already out there. Okay. So I don't know if one of those boys had picked it up and had it in their hand. We don't know if Karmelo saw that as a perceived threat and not just Austin trying to grab him and pick him up. Did they pull out something? And then he's like, oh, shoots, I really got to get out of here. And he had the little one. I don't know. We don't know because we never heard his statement. Thanks to them, we couldn't get none of that out of him. And I think they do know is some things that Karmelo was going to dispel with the evidence that they have. Because why else did they not want him to get on the stand? Yeah, he may have brought up, he was fearing for his life and all of that. Was it 6 of them or 5? Central Park 6. I thought they said slow down to the other officers because they had the suspect. Look, they needed all of the help that they need to get at that time because it was kids all around. I mean, the crime scene was not contained. So I just never heard officers in an emergency situation where they're telling you to slow down. When the whole crime scene wasn't contained and things, you have kids all over the place, coaches trying to put their hands on students, pushing, telling students gone somewhere and all of that. Yes, Shelly. Austin parents were already there, I thought, because they had to meet about another incident that the twins got themselves in once again. Yeah, that's what I heard. I believe this case will shake things up and expose more than Collin County ever thought would come to light, especially how they set up Black people. I really think Austin was hit more than once, probably was poked 2 times. Yeah, I'm wondering, but will we ever know? Now, the thing is, I don't know if the appeal attorneys are issuing a subpoena to the medical examiner to get the full toxicology. To be honest, y'all, the way they're moving, I wish that it's too late though now. Dang. I wish they would have done something like Nolan's parents, because with the appeal attorneys, because I don't trust these people not to try to fix something up. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to go on what they release to them. That's what they're going to look at. So if they've already, and I'm not saying that they did, but let's just say possibly altered anything or left some things out, how would they know? How would the appeal attorneys know that? Because Austin, they've already buried him. They would have to exhume his body to check him again. And his parents are not going to approve that. Child, they're not. I just don't feel they would do that. Yeah, it was too much movement, girl. Yes, talking about slow down. We need some help. Okay, kids was going to the bus that was on the scene, right? People getting away, running from trash cans, putting stuff in trash can. We don't know what was happening. Okay, we don't know what was happening. Yes, okay, it is what it is. Yes, we're gonna get into that on another live. It's been some updates in the Nolan case, y'all, and it's starting to give setup vibes. Also, this is ridiculous. It's so sad and it's so crazy. That one there is going to be a huge. Well, I can't even say because this is a huge cover up too. I have never seen anything like this in my whole life. Okay, the way that these people are boldly trying to cover up. This is stuff we hear about on the movies, not in real life. Like this is real life trying to cover things up. And it's the public investigators that are uncovering this stuff. If you think about it, we are really exposing the systematic stuff that they got going on with the corruption, cover up, racism, these friends. See, they used to could get by with doing stuff like this. Now it's getting a little harder. Okay, because now you got Facebook people, you got YouTube, you got TikTok, baby, everybody working together to expose stuff. Okay, so it's getting harder and harder and harder, and we're getting faster and faster and picking up on it. Okay, when something's not right. When the truth comes out, I want to see how many apologies he gets. None of them going to apologize. Hey Tim, hey Tabany, they're not. But I think this group is already aware of what to look for. These are very seasoned attorneys. Yeah, they are. I hope they can. Let's see. We need the actual poker, not a totally different poker. We need fingerprints. Right. Hey, I am that somebody. They never shut down the crime scene. Yeah. Or separate the students. Now, they did separate some of the students under the tent where they took them to locker rooms. But see, to me, that looks fishy to me. Okay. You taking them outside of everybody else so nobody can be a witness to it. But they were moving some students, kind of, getting their statements. But we did not hear about that during the trial, though. They were coming out saying things that made Karmelo look a certain type of way. But the things that they were saying about Austin, they never brought those things up on the stand. And to me, though, see, this is, okay, now I think about this. It's almost hard to get those students for aggravated perjury, which is considered not just regular perjury. In a murder trial, is considered aggravated perjury for a couple of reasons. It's like they tried to play it safe with that. For the simple fact that you really can't see what's going on under the tent. Okay, that's one reason. And also, Mike Howard could not object or counter their statements to show that they were lying. You see what I'm saying? Now, if he had objected to their statements, that there was discrepancies in what y'all stated to the police and what y'all are saying here, then hey, that make it. But I don't think he objected except for to Eddie. And that's when he brought about the pictures. But everything else, like he could have caught them on the lying part. Well, to police, you said you didn't even know Karmelo even back then on the police statement. Now you coming in court line. Like I would have, like, if you're going to take it there, take it there. But I don't know, y'all, like, because I'm like, why are they not charging these kids with aggravated perjury? Because they all, are having the same statement, being coached allegedly and so forth. But that could be why. They are known as the exonerated five. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Amanda, welcome. And welcome everyone coming on in. Thank you, ladies. Yeah, the whole crime scene was compromised. It was. Yeah, the cases are getting so crazy. It is what it is. I mean, it's so much, y'all, that's coming out about this case. And then also with Nolan's case, y'all. A lot is going on with our boys between ages 17 through that 20 range, where they're being taken out of here. And especially if they are good in sports, have a bright future, like it's almost like they're trying to stop them before they get to be men. Hi, authentic young lady. So that's what I noticed. But y'all, that was all that I had for today. And shout out to y'all. We have made our goal. So I got to come up with the prize. Okay. I got to see what our next, we had music night for the last goal that we reached. We may do something, game night, or I may do a drawing, but I would definitely let you all know. So I want to give shout outs to the sponsors that helped us reach our goal. Miss Catherine, Kara Michelle, T Lady Boogie. Let's see here. Okay, I think those are the main ones today. Yes. And then Miss V, welcome to the Open Book members. And also T Lady Boogie, thank you for gifting a membership as well. If you're in the chat and you want to support the channel, you're welcome to send a super sticker, super chat, Cash App, or buy a coffee. And those links are in the chat or the description field of this video. Let's see, charge the kids that are lying as adults since they charged Karmelo as an adult, right? And y'all, they are calling for not Austin Hunter's arrest. Yes, because my thing is he should not have been included with any agreement. He wasn't on trial, neither was he a victim. Okay, so he should not have been included. They should have brought up his stuff and had him on the stand. They only said on the stand what they were taught to say. The students would have had to lie in the moment and it be addressed on the stand. Exactly. Yes, exactly. And that objection was probably planned so that he can say he did. Exactly. I feel that too. It's a real attack on our young black men. I can see it. We expect them to be honorable when it comes to our children, but they are not like us. We got to protect our babies. They're going after the best of us. It's so sad. Thank you, Phenomenal Scorpio. Did you see the incident in April where a white boy got arrested for hiding an alleged, drowning of a black boy? Yes. They had one. Are you talking about the one in the Rowlett County? I think that's where it was. That's right next door to Collin County, y'all. I think it is a part. No, it's Rowlett County. So, but they're right next to each other. That incident as well. And his name was Daniel Irving. This just happened in April. And they were hiding his clothes in a tree right there on the bridge. They threw his clothes up in a tree. They threw his phone out. And then they took off. They drove off and went to school the next day like nothing ever happened. I'm not sure they ever even secured the crime scene at all. People was all over the place. Ain't no telling who had taken what and got rid of it. Like in that trash can. And they moved the trash can to the front. Did y'all see that in that video? They moved a green trash can. Now, it's raining outside. You have a whole crime scene that's all over the place. And you're thinking about moving trash? Like, that was so weird and out of place. Right, Miss Lady T, he did 2 interviews. Yeah. He got a GoFundMe too? Oh, wow. What is he doing with his GoFundMe? Child, you know what? I'm done. I am so done. But I thank y'all so much for joining today. Shout out to all the mods in the building. Thank you, ladies, so much. And also shout out to the members that are lit up in green. Also, y'all, oh my gosh, it's something that someone sent me about Austin and what they got going on. Okay. The members have access to see it. But y'all, it just put this thing in perspective, even if it's not a legit thing, but it's almost like a modern day like sale. Like Karmelo was pretty much sold, and what financial obligations are there to certain people after the fact? You see what I'm saying? Like, they did it in a different way, in my opinion. And then when you start seeing like now you're seeing GoFundMe's, you see these little crypto coins with certain people's images and all of that. It is something bigger at play with this. Okay. We're just exposing it, certain things about this, but it wasn't meant to be exposed. But see, they underestimated the public when it came to this, because they thought by Karmelo saying, I'm not alleged, I did it, and all of that on the body cam, that was going to be the end all to be all, to just get rid of all of the suspense and people looking into things and all of that. But it did not work. It did not work. I still want to know what the coach put in his pocket from the trash can. I really couldn't see that. I was trying to, it looked like at one point he had an umbrella that he put over to the side, but it was the way he kind of moved over there and did it. And then it was right when the other boy was kneeling down to get something, then he put it in his pocket and then took off. So it was like, it's not clear for me, but it's definitely looks suspicious. I will say that. Now you're taking out Austin girlfriend with the GoFundMe. Y'all silly. Okay. Hey, Monica. Reward money. Okay. Yeah. Child, I better save it. It's like a crypto kind of coin or something. Bitcoin. Have y'all seen that? Making wedding plans with his deceased brother's girlfriend. Ooh. Some type of demonic ritual. Yeah. Some YT folks think it's funny that a lot of Black people can't and don't want to know how to swim. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, possibly, Dario. It's some bigger stuff at play. I will say that, y'all. I ain't trying to get all into that, but y'all know we got the smart crew, the detectives in the building. Okay, just read between the lines, y'all. But thank y'all so much for joining. Make sure y'all hit that like button. It is for free. Also, don't forget to hype up the video, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell because you never know when I'm going to go live. Thank you and have a great evening and a great week. Bye-bye.
You just flip through truth with the open book. If you felt that heat, like share and stay locked in. Another chapter done, but we far from finished. Truth on the mic, yeah, we handle business. Real talk, no fluff, just facts and fire. From the book to the block, we taking it higher. The open book, every voice matters, every lie shatters. Catch you next page.